As a neurologist, I've witnessed countless seniors suffer preventable strokes, not from traditional risk factors like smoking or poor diet, but from something they believed was protecting their health: vitamin supplements. What I'm about to share could fundamentally change how you think about the pills in your medicine cabinet. Every morning, millions of older adults line up their supplements, trusting that more vitamins equals better health. This assumption, while understandable, can be dangerously misleading. Your aging body processes nutrients differently than it did decades ago, and certain vitamins, particularly in high doses, can transform from healers into silent threats to your cardiovascular and neurological systems. The early morning hours present the highest risk period for stroke in seniors. During these vulnerable hours, your blood pressure naturally rises. Your blood becomes more concentrated from overnight dehydration, and your arteries are at their stiffest. Adding certain vitamins to this already precarious situation can tip the scales toward disaster. Let me walk you through the 5 most concerning vitamins that could be putting your brain at risk, starting with one that might surprise you completely. The vitamin D paradox. Vitamin D enjoys an almost mythical reputation for bone health, immune support, and mood enhancement. However, this fat-soluble vitamin accumulates in your system over time, and excessive amounts can create a cascade of dangerous physiological changes. Consider the case of Walter, a 74-year-old Navy veteran who religiously took 10,000 IU of vitamin D daily, believing he was safeguarding his bone density. His disciplined approach to health included regular exercise and a balanced diet, yet one morning his wife discovered him confused and unable to speak clearly. His right arm had lost all function. The emergency room diagnosis revealed a stroke caused by vitamin D toxicity. His blood calcium levels had reached dangerous heights, causing his arteries to calcify and narrow. When your body cannot process excess calcium properly, it deposits these minerals directly into your arterial walls, creating the perfect conditions for blood clots. The mechanism is straightforward yet devastating. Vitamin D enhances calcium absorption in your intestines, but your aging kidneys may struggle to regulate these elevated levels. The excess calcium hardens your arteries, reduces their flexibility, and increases the likelihood of clot formation. During sleep, when your blood flow naturally slows and your body becomes dehydrated, these calcified arteries become ticking time bombs. Most commercially available vitamin D supplements contain 2,000 to 10,000 IU per capsule, yet research suggests that many seniors require far less. The optimal blood level of vitamin D should be between 30 and 50 nanograms per milliliters, achievable with much smaller doses than what's commonly sold over the counter. The vitamin E blood thinning effect. Vitamin E presents a different but equally serious concern, particularly for the millions of seniors taking blood thinning medications. This antioxidant vitamin interferes with your blood's natural clotting mechanisms, and when combined with prescription anticoagulants, it can lead to internal bleeding. Evelyn Brooks, an 81-year-old retired librarian, exemplifies this hidden danger. Already prescribed warfarin for a heart valve condition, her medical team carefully monitored her blood clotting levels. However, when she added an 800 IU vitamin E supplement to her routine, hoping to improve her memory and circulation, she unknowingly created a lethal combination. 3 weeks later, a severe headache and sudden confusion landed her in the emergency room. Brain imaging revealed a hemorrhagic stroke bleeding within her brain tissue. The combination of warfarin and high-dose vitamin E had made her blood too thin to clot effectively, allowing a fragile brain vessel to rupture. Vitamin E's molecular structure allows it to interfere with vitamin K-dependent clotting factors. In therapeutic doses, this property might offer cardiovascular benefits, but in supplement form, especially doses exceeding 200 IU daily, it can become problematic. The recommended daily intake for seniors is merely 22 IU, yet store shelves are stocked with supplements containing 400 to 1,000 IU per capsule. The tragedy of Evelyn's story lies not just in her permanent disability. She now requires a cane and struggles with short-term memory, but in how preventable her stroke was. A simple conversation with her physician about supplement interactions could have saved her from this life-altering event. Vitamin B6 neurotoxicity. Perhaps no vitamin better illustrates the principle that more is not better than vitamin B6. Marketed heavily for nerve support and brain health, high-dose B6 supplements can actually cause the very nerve damage they claim to prevent. Harold Jenkins, a 76-year-old retired truck driver, sought help for progressively worsening numbness in his feet and hands. His balance had deteriorated to the point where he'd fallen 3 times in 2 months, the last fall resulting in a head injury. Initially attributing these symptoms to normal aging, Harold continued taking his nerve support formula, 2 tablets daily, each containing 100 milligrams of vitamin B6. His total daily intake of 200 milligrams represented more than 10 times the safe upper limit for seniors. Unlike water-soluble vitamins that flush from your system, B6 accumulates in nerve tissues. Over months or years, excessive B6 strips away the protective myelin sheath surrounding your nerves, like removing insulation from electrical wires. The resulting peripheral neuropathy manifests gradually: tingling sensations, numbness, muscle weakness, and balance problems. In severe cases, it can cause tremors, confusion, and permanent nerve damage. The insidious nature of B6 toxicity means symptoms develop slowly, often mistaken for arthritis, normal aging, or even early dementia. Harold's story had a relatively positive outcome because we caught the toxicity early. However, he still requires a walking cane and no longer drives. The irony is profound. A supplement he trusted to protect his brain was slowly poisoning his nervous system. Vitamin A and intracranial pressure. Vitamin A toxicity presents one of the most deceptive dangers because its symptoms closely mimic those of a stroke. This fat-soluble vitamin accumulates in your liver and brain tissues, and excessive amounts can increase pressure inside your skull, creating a condition called pseudotumor cerebri. Dorothy Simmons, a 79-year-old piano teacher, experienced this firsthand. After 5 years of taking a high-dose skin and eye supplement containing nearly 10,000 IU of vitamin A daily, she developed severe headaches, blurred vision, dizziness, and slurred speech. Her family feared she was having a stroke. However, brain imaging revealed no clot or bleeding. Instead, Dorothy suffered from elevated intracranial pressure caused by vitamin A toxicity. Her cerebrospinal fluid was backing up, creating dangerous pressure on her brain tissue and optic nerves. As we age, our liver's ability to process and eliminate excess vitamin A diminishes significantly. The vitamin accumulates in tissues, and when levels become too high, it can cause the brain's protective membranes to produce excess fluid. This increased pressure can damage vision, cause cognitive problems, and even lead to permanent neurological deficits. The safe upper limit for seniors is approximately 3,000 IU daily, and this should only be taken under medical supervision. Many anti-aging and eye health supplements contain 2 to 3 times this amount, and when combined with vitamin A from multivitamins and fortified foods, toxicity becomes increasingly likely. Dorothy requires ongoing monitoring for vision problems and intracranial pressure. Her recovery is progressing, but she lives with the constant reminder that her well-intentioned supplement routine nearly cost her sight and cognitive function. The niacin roller coaster. Niacin, or vitamin B3, represents perhaps the most dramatic example of how a heart-healthy vitamin can backfire in older adults. Prescribed and sold over-the-counter for cholesterol management, high-dose niacin creates dangerous fluctuations in blood pressure that can trigger strokes. Frank Miller, an 82-year-old retired postman, experienced these effects firsthand. Taking 2,000 milligrams of niacin daily in a heart health supplement, Frank developed facial flushing, chest pounding, and morning dizziness. These symptoms seemed benign until he experienced a transient ischemic attack, a mini-stroke that temporarily affected his speech. Niacin's mechanism creates a cardiovascular roller coaster. Initially, it causes rapid blood vessel dilation, leading to the characteristic flushing and warmth. However, these same vessels then constrict aggressively, causing blood pressure spikes and reduced blood flow to the brain. For seniors with already compromised circulation, This yo-yo effect can be catastrophic. The therapeutic dose of niacin for cholesterol management requires careful medical supervision, typically starting at 500 milligrams daily and gradually increasing. However, many over-the-counter supplements contain 1,000 milligrams or more per serving, and consumers often take multiple doses daily, believing that higher amounts will provide greater benefits. Frank's recovery was complete because we identified the cause quickly. However, his experience illustrates how supplements marketed for heart health can paradoxically increase cardiovascular risk in older adults. The food-first alternative. After reviewing these concerning cases, you might wonder what alternatives exist for maintaining optimal nutrition without risking supplement toxicity. The answer lies in returning to whole foods, nutrients in their natural form, properly balanced and easily absorbed by your aging body. Margaret Wilson, a 73-year-old retired school principal, exemplifies this approach. When I first met her, she consumed over a dozen different supplements daily, yet still experienced dizziness, balance problems, and rising blood pressure. We took a radical approach. We eliminated the supplements and focused on nutrient-dense whole foods. Her new morning routine included a boiled egg for high-quality protein, half an avocado for healthy monounsaturated fats, whole grain toast for sustained energy, and fresh berries loaded with brain-protective antioxidants. She hydrated with room temperature water and occasionally added nuts or seeds for additional minerals and healthy fats. Within weeks, Margaret's symptoms resolved. Her blood pressure stabilized, her dizziness disappeared, and she reported feeling more mentally sharp than she had in years. This transformation occurred not because we added more nutrients, but because we provided her body with nutrients in forms it could properly utilize. Whole foods offer several advantages over supplements. First, nutrients in food exist in balanced combinations that enhance absorption and reduce toxicity risk. Second, food provides fiber, water, and other compounds that support overall health. Third, it's virtually impossible to reach toxic levels of vitamins through food alone. The most brain-protective foods for seniors include fatty fish rich in omega-3 fatty acids, leafy greens containing folate and antioxidants, berries with anti-inflammatory compounds, nuts and seeds providing vitamin E and magnesium, and whole grains for stable blood sugar. These foods support not just brain health, but cardiovascular function, bone density, and immune system strength. Understanding your changing body. Your body at 70 or 80 processes nutrients fundamentally differently than it did at 40 or 50. Your stomach produces less acid, reducing mineral absorption. Your kidneys filter less efficiently, allowing fat-soluble vitamins to accumulate. Your liver metabolizes compounds more slowly, increasing toxicity risk. These physiological changes mean that supplement doses appropriate for younger adults can become dangerous for seniors. Additionally, many older adults take multiple medications that can interact with vitamins in unpredictable ways. Blood thinners, blood pressure medications, diabetes drugs, and heart rhythm medications all have potential interactions with common supplements. What seems like a harmless addition to your health routine could trigger a medical emergency. The key principle is moderation and medical oversight. If you choose to take supplements, work with a healthcare provider who understands your complete medical picture. Regular blood testing can identify potential toxicities before they cause symptoms. Most importantly, remember that supplements should supplement a healthy diet, not replace it. Moving forward safely. The goal of sharing these stories is not to create fear around all supplements, but to promote informed decision-making. Vitamins can play valuable roles in senior health when used appropriately. However, the more is better mentality that pervades supplement marketing can be genuinely dangerous for older adults. Before adding any new supplement to your routine, ask yourself several questions. Do I have a documented deficiency that requires supplementation? Have I discussed this with my healthcare provider? Am I taking any medications that might interact? What is the appropriate dose for someone my age? Are there food sources that could meet this need instead? Remember that your brain and cardiovascular system have served you for decades. They deserve protection, not unnecessary risk. The most powerful medicine at this stage of life is often awareness, understanding how your body works now, not how it worked in your youth. Your health journey is unique, and what works for others may not be appropriate for you. Trust your body's signals, maintain open communication with your healthcare team, and remember that the simplest approaches are often the most effective. Real food, adequate hydration, regular movement, quality sleep, and stress management provide more health benefits than any supplement bottle ever could. The choice is yours, but make it an informed one. Your brain, your independence, and your future self will thank you for the wisdom to choose safety over marketing promises and food over pills whenever possible.